Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a two-page layout for our for my Oahu series, and the layout today focuses on turtles. Super fun, and something that we tried throughout our vacation to kind of catch the turtles, you know, when they would be sunning themselves, or basking as they call it, and we just had no luck until like the very end of our vacation. So this page, there's these two pages, this layout is going to be a little bit long. I'll just just let you know that hopefully as I'm able to speed up different sections, it won't be as long. But I did do two borders, and most of the border that we're only assembling one of them is completed already. The one that we're assembling, most of those pieces are already cut, but there are a couple that I show you how to cut, and then there are some peekaboo pockets that I had to kind of work through and figure out. And so bear with me. I hope you'll like it. I think it turned out well. Since I'm doing the introduction on the back side of doing it, I kind of know how it turned out. I like it. So I think you'll like it too. Let's check out my workspace and get started on the project. All right, so this is my workspace for today, and you'll recognize this as the right side of the last layout that I did, which was kind of the rest of our visit to Matsumoto's. So that was super fun. Today we are going to continue on this last day of our trip with a visit to one of the North Shore beaches that it was near Waimea. And I may not be saying that right. Waimea? I think it was Waimea. Anyway, we got our ices and enjoyed them, and kind of looked around for a little bit in the area where Matsumoto's is located, and I'll have to look that up and put it in the description for you so you know how to find it if you're not familiar. I did not look that up before this video, so it's not in my brain. Anyway, I'll make sure I get that into the description when I load that video for you. Today, after we finished those ices, we continued over to the beach area and found some turtles, we found some turtles, which I had been hoping to see for most of our trip, but we just hadn't made it. And a couple times that we had been near the beaches that we'd been told turtles come to, there weren't any. So, you know, we hadn't really had any luck, and this was sort of our last opportunity. And fortunately, we were blessed and got to see one, which was really cool. I had made a border following this blog post that Chrislyn Matei made back in July of 2022, and I customized it, but I did make this one right here. There's a bigger picture of it right here for you. So if you want the directions written out, if that's easier for you to adjust to, then you are welcome to go ahead and look up. I would look up on the Creative Memories blog, and just I think you can put in subjects, or you can put in the cast or catch of the day fish border, or you can, I think, look it up by date if I'm not mistaken. So you can find this with the step-by-step instructions. But I'm going to walk you through it today because I need to make a matching one for this layout. So this layout this border does use the Serene Waters vellum papers. And so if you don't have the vellum papers, you'll want to get those. Hopefully they're still available. Honestly, I did not look to find out, but you could check with maybe another advisor if you aren't able to get them on the website. But they are beautiful, and if you are doing anything with water, they really add a lot to water pages. Really, really cool. So this is the sample border that I made for the turtles. And I'm going to make another one just like it so you can follow along, okay? We are going to use our friendly fish punch that's up here, and we're going to use the Creative Memories decorative trimmer, which looks like this, and some vellum, and you're going to want vellum adhesive, which is the blue cartridge that looks like this. So if you have that, that's going to be your best friend for vellum. At any rate, I have some of the pieces already cut, but let me go ahead and just move this bit out of the way for a second so that we can get to work on recreating this border. Then we'll talk about how we're going to lay out the rest of this page. Okay, so first of all, for the base, you are going to need a 3-inch piece of your background paper, which I chose this blue grassy looking paper from the Serene Waters Collection, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that. So this is 3 inches. It's just a straight cut. There's nothing fancy about it. You're just going to cut a 3x12 piece from that paper. So there's your base, and that's good to go. Then you are going to need a piece of, I used this kind of bubble paper. I don't know, it looks like the bubbles from fish under the water rising to the surface, or at least that's what it reminds me of. And I used a decorative blade. I used so you can see it's got the checkerboard on the back. Again, this is Serene Waters. So if you have that paper pack, that's gonna be where you find it. I used a decorative blade to cut both edges. It was the wave blade, this green one right here. So that's the one that I used to cut both edges on this piece. And this piece is measuring 2 3/4. So 2 3/4, and you want the beveled edge on both sides, or the wave edge on both sides. And that's going to go down right in the center of your base page. And I'm just going to go ahead and assemble it as we do each piece. I think that would be probably the easiest thing to do. Okay, so I'm just going to center this in the middle. Try to give it the same border on each side. Okay, so there's that. Now we need to punch. Oops, there's my adhesive sliding all around. We need to punch 2 rows of friendly fish. So we're going to grab our friendly fish border. I've got this orange paper that's very similar to the blue paper that we cut at the beginning, and it's got the bubbles on the back, or it has the strips, the border strips that you saw. It has those on the back. I'm going to be using the orange side though, that looks like the orange grass, and we're going to punch this in our friendly fish punch. Now you might notice that my paper disappears, so I can't line it up properly when I put it in here. So you can do a couple things. You can get a sticky note and place it right on the edge of your paper so that that will stick out farther and you can see right where the edge is. Or what I'm going to do in this case is I'm just going to line it up with this blue paper, and I'm going to use my blue paper to help line up my orange paper. So I'm going to line that up I'm going to see if this works. I've actually not tried this before, but it just sounded like it would be something that would work. So I'm going to line that up just like that. And now the trick is going to be to slide the blue paper out without moving the yellow or the orange. Let's see how well I did. Woohoo! Woohoo, I did it. Yay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish up this 12 inches of friendly fish in the orange paper, or the orange grass. So we're just gonna punch and slide all the way along. That leaves us with about 1/2 inch of orange paper and our friendly fish, which are actually a little bit stuck. Why are they stuck? That's so strange. Okay. I need to trim that just a little. I think I can just tear it off. There. All right, so there are our orange fish. And that's interesting, but it looks like we only have the top layer of fish. It looks like maybe they cut off the barracuda or this long fish at the bottom. And I don't remember doing that, but we can certainly get to that in just a second here. So we're going to punch another strip of blue fish, which are harder to see on the blue background, but there is another strip of blue fish in the back. Now the thing about the blue fish is they're heading the opposite direction. So instead of feeding your paper in the same way, because I want this side up, I'm going to flip my paper over and I'm going to feed my paper in. It doesn't matter if I go right or left or right, because I have flipped my paper over and I want the other side, my fish will be going the opposite direction. Okay, so now when I flip my fish this way, you can see that these large fish are headed in the opposite directions, which is what I want. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just clean up my area. There we go. And we're going to take our precision point scissors, and I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to trim off these large fish at the bottom, because we really don't need them. So we're just going to shape that cut around the fish above it so that all of its fins are intact. So this is going to take just a second, and I'll speed it up so you don't have to watch the whole thing. All right, so you can save all these little individual fishies if you want to. Maybe use them on another layout somehow, but I'm not going to worry about it because I don't have very many more layouts to do for this album, so I don't think I'm going to use it. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to adhere these 2 layers of fishies, and we're going to do that using our repositionable adhesive. So use the green adhesive, and we're going to just place some as we go here. I'm going to just snip off this little end piece, which I failed to do before. I'm going to get that in this one as well. Okay, so our blue fish are going to be headed, make sure you get them right side up. Our blue fish are heading that way, and we're going to place them in, let's see if I can give you a measurement, that might be helpful. I'm going to place the fin of our end fish straddling the 2-inch mark on our layout, or on our border. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But his nose over here and his tail, the tail over here, are right at the 2-inch mark on our border. And then we're gonna go ahead and get some adhesive on the back side of our orange fish. And they are heading the other way, and they slightly overlap these guys. So they're gonna be at about the 1.5 inch mark, maybe just a hair below the 1.5 inch mark. Now, if it bothers you, I'm just noticing my orange grass print paper is kind of heading horizontal. My blue grass paper is vertical. So if that bothers you, then just try to be mindful of that when you punch or cut your paper, so that your paper is all going the same direction. I kind of like it because it provides kind of some variety. So I'm okay with it, but in case that bothers you, that's an option. All right, now I have a piece already that was from probably from the same project of vellum, and this is one of the pieces of vellum from the Serene Waters collection. But we are going to use this scrap, not with this trimmer, but I'm just showing you because it's easier to see. So we're going to cut this right down the middle using our decorative trimmer, and when we do that, we'll have two pieces that are roughly 1/2 inch. They'll be 1/2 inch wide. So we'll flip one of them over so that they give us this hourglass kind of shape, but we can use a piece like this that's mirrored to do that, because vellum is very forgiving that way. You can flip it and it won't be a problem. Okay, so let me just set this trimmer to the side and grab my decorative trimmer, which is right here. And my decorative trimmer is, you have to make sure your paper is lined up correctly, or lined up along with it, in order to match that wave. Okay, so I've checked that. Now what I need to do is I'm going to open my trimmer and I'm going to move the paper down so that it's right just in half of that cutting line. So this is going to take just a little bit. And actually what I'm going to do, just to make this a little easier, I'm going to put a little bit of repositionable adhesive on this so that I can rub that off later, but I can place this down and it will stay, because I fiddle and it just moves all around. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull this towards me, because you know how I like to pull my paper instead of push it. But with vellum, because I often have a hard time getting it to start cutting, I'll move it in about 1/4 inch and then push the blade down through the vellum and push it back to the beginning, so that I have a nice start to my cut without tearing my paper. Okay, and then just go really slow, because vellum is kind of thicker than you might expect, and just cut that in half. And you can see my cut was slightly off, so I have one side that's a little bit wider than another in some spots, but I think it'll still be okay. All right, so we're done with the decorative trimmer. You can set that to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and take my vellum and get that. Sure, Kim. I'm going to get that repositionable adhesive off the back so that I don't have to worry about it showing through, because vellum is kind of tricky that way. And sometimes you can see your adhesive, which is why I recommend that you use the CM vellum adhesive if you're going to use vellum. It works much better than our other adhesives at hiding from view. So just a suggestion. Okay, I'm going to flip this one on the bottom so that it's going long ways like that, and then actually, so it was flip. You have to flip it over this way and not flip it this way, if that makes sense, so that you have kind of that oval, that kind of hourglass opening. I'm going to take my vellum adhesive and I'm going to place it on the back of the vellum, just in a couple of places. I'm not going to put it all the way along in the middle. I'm only going to put it on the ends, just a little bit on each of the ends. Okay, then I'm going to place that so that it is coming over the fish, almost like a window. Does that make sense? So you're kind of looking through the water at the fish. And I'm just, for now, just gonna stick those down with my fingers. Then I'm gonna grab this other piece, put a little bit of vellum on each end, or a little bit of adhesive, I'm sorry, on each end of the vellum. And then do like so. So I'm adhering the end just above the fish over here on this side, and then the openings in the middle allow me to see through the window sort of at the fish. Okay, so pushing it down on both sides. Now you're going to want something that you can burnish with. What I usually use is my all-purpose tool, but you can use a credit card, you can use your all-purpose tool, you can use anything that's going to be relatively hard plastic, and you're just going to rub on top of where you know you put that adhesive, so that it's all nice and stuck down, and so that it literally disappears. So if you can see it at all before you start burnishing it, it almost, like, if I didn't know it was there, I would not see it. The more you rub it down, the more it disappears. Of course, nothing is perfect, and when you're adhering over different layers, sometimes it can cause a little bit of an issue of a shadow, but it works pretty well, I think. And yeah, I just leave the middle kind of floating, because you just don't need to worry about it sticking up. This one has come undone, so I'm going to redo this one. I must not have had enough adhesive on there before or something, because it didn't stay somehow. Okay, so that's good to go. Now, if you want, I've added turtles to mine. You can add fish, you can add, whatever makes you happy. They're in the Serene Waters embellishments. You have everything from schools of fish to these beautiful angel fish that would be very pretty on there. You could add a little bit of of plant life for them to be swimming through. You know, all kinds of things. Here's another really pretty orange angelfish. So you can add all kinds of different things. I'm going to wait just a minute because I pulled all these out so that I could embellish these pages using these. But we're going to get back to the page here first and see where the page takes us. So hold on, I have a clownfish who has gone astray. Okay. So I'm going to put this border on this side of my layout because the embellishments are on this end, and I don't want that to be in the middle, I don't think. So I'm going to put that on that side and this one on this side, or at least that's the general idea I'm going to go with for right now. But let's take a look at some pictures and try to get a sense of how this is going to come together, okay? So I have these photos, which you may not even really be able to determine what these photos are of, but we sat on a wall and watched the ocean and found these turtles that were just having a ball playing in the surf. As the waves would come in, the turtles would swim through the waves and jump, and well, they didn't really jump as much, but sometimes the waves would show them off a little bit better than others. And I was having a really hard time seeing with my glasses and my phone and, you know, the glare from the sun. But I love that you can see all the different colors of the water in these photos. Very, very cool. And I love that you can see all the different shadows of the turtles. So what I want to do is try to showcase that. And I want to use some of the blue paper that we used here. And I'm going to cut a strip that is, let's see, each of these are 4 inches high, so I want a strip that is 4.5, so that, or actually let's do 4 3/4. I'm going to do 4 3/4 just so I have enough space that maybe I can vary them just a little bit. And this is going to be kind of a base mat for all of these photos. Whoops, I put that trimmer kind of away and I wasn't done with it. All right, so I'm going to take each of these photos and I'm going to center the area that has the turtle, and I'm going to cut it into a 2-inch piece, with the exception of one of my photos. And how I do that is I take the focus area and I place it. If I want a 2-inch piece, I find the middle would be 1 inch. So this main line on my trimmer is 1 inch. So I try to center that over, in this case, the turtle, and then I can cut on either side, and I know that I've got my subject right in the middle. Okay, so there's one. Then we're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to just put him right in the middle. Flip this over. I'm hoping that I'll be able to kind of capture the frolicking mood of all of these guys as they were enjoying the surf. Again, very, very difficult to see them, but this was kind of how they appeared to us as well. They were kind of just, every once in a while they would all of a sudden be right there, and then they'd be gone. So, and this guy is kind of an anomaly. He is a little smaller than the rest, so I'm not sure exactly how or if I'm going to even use him, but we might. So let's just check this out and see how this works. And I'm not going to throw these away just yet, because you never know when. Sometimes it might be fun to add just a little bit of water in. So we'll see what happens there. So I think what I want is a little bit more variation in these. Maybe we'll put this guy over here. And if I put these a little closer together, or maybe even help out that height variance by putting them at different levels, then it will create a little more interest, maybe, and allow me just enough space for this guy on the end. Which works, except I think I want to go the other direction so that yeah, I think that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, let me go ahead and get these adhered down, and I'll be right back. All right, so now we've got our little turtles, and those guys are going to go right up there along the edge, I think, of that left-hand side of that border, or left-hand side of the page. But just in case, I'm not going to put them, glue them down just yet. But for now, I think that's where those are going to go. Okay, so as we kept moving down the beach, we found this great big turtle right here in an area that was actually designated as you can see, as a Hanu feeding and basking area, which I thought was really cool, that they reserve an area that is strictly for the turtles. Now you can see a lot of people that are out here in the water. They weren't really supposed to be in the water. There are signs all over the place that ask people not to swim, but people were not, as people often do, they were ignoring the signs that were there, and they were swimming anyways, which I think probably would be a deterrent. If I was a turtle and I saw a bunch of people in the area, I would just wait, for them to all leave. I would go somewhere else. But this guy had been there since early morning. I talked to a lady who is a volunteer, and she said that there are about 100 people who volunteer to come out to this area and watch over the turtles and remind the tourists that are less than considerate to stay away from them and leave them alone while they are resting. They actually have each of the turtles tagged, so you can see here there's a sign posted. This particular turtle had a name. He was called Woolly Bully. They call him L7. That's his designation, and they have tracked him. He's approximately 45 years old, and he swims on a regular basis from this point on Oahu all the way to Australia. And so they've got a history here, because on the other side in Australia, there are people just like the people in Oahu who watch over the turtles, and they make note of any new marks they see on the turtles when they come ashore, and just kind of keep a history of them. This one is a male. He weighs about 275 pounds. So he's stayed there on the sand the whole time that we were there. I don't know how long they generally rest, but he was there for a good long time. And there are all these signs that say stay back 10 feet from the turtles. They put out, actually, you can see in this picture right here, you can see this very faint red line. I don't know if you could see that very well in the video, but there's a rope that the ladies and the volunteers, I'm sure there are men who also volunteer, when they find a turtle on the beach, they put this rope around in a 10-foot circle from them to remind the people that are watching just how far they need to stay away from the turtles, to allow the turtles to do what they need to do and keep them protected. While we were standing there, however, there was an ignorant tourist who was not paying attention, who literally almost walked on top of the turtle. And from the minute he stepped inside the barrier circle, she was, telling him, sir, stop. And everybody was saying, stop, turn around. And he was totally ignorant and paying no attention to anyone, which was frustrating and sad for the turtles. They have a right to live in a protected environment. So anyway, interesting things that I learned as we were visiting and watching this little turtle. My husband actually went around the other side so that he could get a better picture. So this is him taking a picture of Woolly Bully, and this is the picture that he took a little bit closer up. And closer still, we have this one of him. And the waves were coming in. The waves would come in and make his whole front half wet, as you can see, and then they would go back out again, and he would just lay there. He hardly shifted at all, although once in a while he would blink his eyes, which was interesting. So I need to try to fit all of these photos on these 2 pages, I think. I don't know if I really want to do another layout for this. I have this cute, this handout that the volunteer gave me, that has all the information about the, and I'm not going to say it right, but I think it's Malamana Hanu, and it's probably Malama Nahanu. Anyway, this is the group that helps protect the species, and all the information that they included about the turtles, which is very cool. So I wanted to include this as well in my layout in such a way that we can look at both sides. So that will need to be in a peekaboo pocket. I've got this cute 5x7 enlargement so that we can see all the information about Woolly Bully, and then I'm trying to decide how I want to do the rest of this. I think I'm going to crop this one so that it's a little bit easier to read and takes up a little less space. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to do the rest of this, but let me do some cropping, and then we'll need some peekaboo pockets for sure, probably for all of these right here. So let's see. So this one I know I want to crop down, and for now I'm just going to crop it into a rectangle, even though the sign is at a funky angle, and we'll see if maybe I crop it right along the edges of the sign or not. But for right now, that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. I like that this one is kind of offset. It makes for a really interesting, nicely balanced picture. And I like that this one shows kind of the edge of the island as it goes around. But I think this one I'm going to end up cropping into maybe into a 4x4, because it shows kind of the, maybe we'll do 4.5x4, 4.5x4, just to give us a little bit more room. And maybe we can layer that somehow. I like this one because I like the sign here. Wish there weren't quite as many people that were hanging out, but you know, that's okay. Everybody's fascinated by them, and I get it. I'm fascinated by them too. So, let's see, we could trim off most of these people, actually. So if we make this one the same size as the other one, it'd be a 4.5x4. And then let me get my peekaboo pockets out and see, where are they? I think they're right here. Yeah. Okay, so we'll get maybe 2 of our sideways 4x6 peekaboo pockets. Oop, I need to get some more. It looks like that's my last one, because this one is long ways this way. So I only have one of either kind, but let's consider that for a second. All right, I'm gonna grab some more and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've got plenty of these. So we could do two of those, or we could do 2 of those. Let's see. I want this one to be on top, I think. So this one will flip this way, and then we'll have this one. Unless we flip it out this way. If we flip it out this way, then it would just be like so. Maybe that would be fun to do. I haven't actually done one like that before, where we flip it open like this, and that would actually probably work really nicely right here along the edge of that. Let me find my opening. Okay, so when you use a peekaboo pocket, there's an extended flap. The flap is meant to fold over, and when you fold it over the opening, the adhesive is on the outside of that flap. So that means that your pictures, that if you want them in order, the top one is going to go on the side with the flap. And you just slide them straight in. And there's our first 2. And then here will be our second 2. Okay, so that will go something like that, and we'll offset them just a little bit so that they can be lifted up separately. So I'll put those over there. These are going to go right in there. It'd be good if I had something to go underneath, all of those. So maybe one of these can go underneath. We can put this guy. Maybe I could put that more in the middle and put that kind of off to the side. And maybe layer these just a little. So that leaves us with this one, which we could put under here. So those would be kind of together, slightly covered up. And we'll leave this one kind of sticking out so that we know there's a photo underneath there to get. Okay, I'm liking the way this is coming together. I still need a peekaboo pocket for that. I'm hoping I can get it into a 5x7. Let's check and see if that will work. I don't know. It actually might be bigger than that. Let me put these guys in my box so I don't lose them. And we'll put yeah, but it's gonna be too short. So how can we do that? Maybe we'll need to use a bigger peekaboo pocket, the 6x12, so that we have room for this guy. Or I could just trim it. Could just trim it. I also need one with the adhesive going the other direction, so bear with me just a second because I need to get a different one. See, all of those go up. I need one that's, there we go, that one will work. They almost don't fit inside this box, the 5x7s. I have to kind of crunch them just a little bit, in case you're wondering, because this is a 5x7 size box, and the 5x7 sized peekaboo pockets are slightly larger because of the edge that's on them. So anyway, okay, so let's see. Let's trim this to 5x7, or to 7. We'll trim it to 7 inches, or just a hair short of 7 inches so that it fits nicely. And then we can put this on underneath it or something. Okay. So that's folding over. Do we want the information side up or the picture side up? I think I want the picture side up. So I want the picture side up, and I want it to stay close to the edge so that it doesn't cover up other things. But we can put this in here like so. So we'll put a little bit of adhesive on here. And we're actually Hold on. As I was putting that permanent adhesive on there, I thought to myself, that's silly. You should have used repositionable. But I don't always listen to that inner voice. I should listen to that voice a little bit more, I think. Okay, so we've got a little bit of adhesive there. I'm gonna reach in here and place that in there. Place that in there and hold it where I want it, and then move this where I want it so that I can adhere those together. Perfect. Okay, that'll work. That'll go right there. All right, time to get some of this adhered down. So I'm going to speed this part of the video up so you don't have to watch all of it again. And I'll be back at you as soon as we get it all glued down. All right, so I am going to do a little frame around this. I think it's going to look a little awkward because at times the paper is going to be going the wrong direction, but I'm going to try it. So I'm going to do just a 3/4 inch, some 3/4 inch strips so that I have room for adhesive. And then let's see how much room we have. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put adhesive on the back of my photo. And going to allow for roughly 1/4 inch. Trying to keep it level. To do the same thing down the other side. And then I'm going to use my trimmer to go ahead and trim these off so that they are, so I know they are the same on this side. And then, because I probably want that grass to be going up, see, that's not going to be long enough. Would it matter if I use these? Is that going to look funky? Might be okay. I know some people that's going to bother, but I think I'm going to do that anyway, or use that anyway, just so that I can keep this strip intact and use it for something else. So I think it'll be all right in the long run. So I'm just gonna go, I'm looking at the edges of the paper and lining up the edges of the paper on the top and the bottom, and then I will get a nice frame from that. Okay, same thing on the other side. Lining up the edges of the paper. Okay, so now we've got a nicely framed picture. It kind of balances the mat on the other side. At least that's my thought. And I'm going to need to lift these up just a little, and I might need to reposition this one, which is going to be a little bit tough because I adhered it to the photo. Let's see if I can do it. Put a little strip of adhesive there. Oh, my hand just cramped up. A little piece of adhesive there. The rest of that off and see where it needs to go in a second. And let's pop this up in case we need to scoot this picture underneath. I want that to fit right there, and I want to be able to see this without too much difficulty. So I think we'll put her there. Okay. Kula bula, as they say in Ireland. Woo. Teaser. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of place this photo a little bit overlapping, but not covering up anything important, just to give a little bit more space there. Okay, I think that's good. Now we need to just add maybe an embellishment or two, but not very much, to be able to, we could add maybe a few surfboards here, even though there's no surfing allowed in this area. Might just be kind of cool to do. And what kind of fish could we put swimming in the ocean? More turtles. We need more turtles. And more turtles in the ocean is always a good thing. So I've got a turtle here. We've got some bubbles we could add, which might be fun. We've got, I know I had a couple more turtles. Where are all of them? Up here. There's another one. More bubbles. Some sea plants and schools of fish. Okay, let's see. If this guy is over top of those, I think that will be okay. And we could put a couple fish underneath there just for fun. And then we could put relax. The turtle's relaxing. Although I don't think I would be very terribly relaxed if all those people were climbing all around my area where I was trying to rest. But, you know, all right. We'll put those guys there. Well, maybe we'll put a few fish up underneath the up underneath our fold out thing. We'll add those in there too, up underneath there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this put down. I'm gonna grab some foam squares and do this real quick. I must have caught a fin or something because he's popping up funny. Alright, and we're going to use our repositionable adhesive to put our word down flat. And then maybe just a little foam square on this guy. Give him a little bit of something there, like that. Let's go ahead and adhere these down. Come here. Oh, sometimes my fingernails really get the better of me. Okay, and then have to make sure you grab the right adhesive, remember? Gotta watch me, ladies. Feel free to scream out. Wouldn't be the first time. Alright, so we've got just a cute little, we're just going to add a little some little fishies in here for those who lift up the flap and read all about the turtles. So we'll put those kind of right in there. And I can write some right in there too. We'll put this guy in there. Maybe just off to that side, and a little bit of bubbles. From the fish. So fun. Something like that. Okay. Now, I think that might be all we need to do. That'll cover that up really nicely. We've got a lot of interaction right here. Do I need anything embellishment wise anywhere else? Could put a wave kind of right in here. Though I don't know if we need it really. Oh, I do have one more little turtle, which we could add right in there. That might be kind of cute. Kind of brings that orangey color up some. I think I'll do that. Let's put him on a foam square and we'll pop him up a little. And he can entertain his other little turtle friends up there. All right, I think that's about all we're going to do for today, and I will adhere the pocket or the peekaboo pockets when I put the protective page on. So I might do that as I do the flip through, adhere the peekaboo pockets for you so you can see kind of how I do that. So if you think you'd like to see that, if you could comment when you see this video that you'd like to see that, then I'll try to make sure I do that when we do the flip through of the finished album after I do titles and journaling, or maybe not journaling, but definitely titles, so you can see where those will go. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. This was a little bit longer one, but hopefully with all the editing I'll be able to get it down so it doesn't take quite so long. All right, thanks so much. And again, I hope you have many more creative moments. We'll see you next time. Take care.